concert of the Vanier Concert Band, and I'm Christopher Smith. And this is the Vanier Concert Band. That first piece was the Liberty Bell March by John Philip Sousa, which you might have recognized as the theme to Monty Python as well. I'm sure none of you were imagining a giant foot smushing down on everything on the last note the way it did in the Monty Python show. John Philip Sousa was the most popular band ever to have existed in the world. And yes, that's counting the Beatles, Madonna, and all the rest too. He sold more recordings and was heard by more people than any other person in the history of the world, and his band lasted over 50 years, even before the invention of the record player. So that's quite a record. The next piece we're going to play is a Prelude and Fugue by J.S. Bach. And I know it sounds very, very hoity-toity and all the rest, but the Prelude, that just means it's the first part, and it's slow. Then the Fugue is a little faster, and it's a little bit like a debate in Parliament, you know, where you've got the Prime Minister who brings a motion, and the motion you will hear will be brought by the clarinet, and then somebody opposes it. And in this particular case, it will be the second clarinet who opposes it, and then there's a lively debate. But unlike in Canadian Parliament, the motion always wins. So just keep that in mind as you're listening to the Fugue. Prelude and Fugue, and this one is in G minor, and surprise, we will be playing it in G minor. Are we ready? Thank you for your kind applause. You can hear them from here. You can hear them coming through the window to our lovely view of the athletic complex, which you can see very nicely if you crane your neck. The next piece we're going to play is called Pas Redoublé, or Double Quick Step, by Camille Saint-Saëns. Yes, he was a famous composer. And it was transcribed here by Arthur Fackenpole, who was one of my colleagues just south of the border. He taught at Potsdam, New York State University in Potsdam for many years until he died last year. And we were very sorry to see him go because he wrote a lot of good stuff. Now, the Pas Redoublé, double quick step, yes, it wasn't usually used for marching the way you might think, because you couldn't run that fast. However, what they did use it for was for can-can dances. So while this happens, just imagine a bunch of people wearing fluffy dresses and kicking up their heels, and at one point they're turning handsprings, and at another point a clown comes out juggling balls, and we know when that happens. So enjoy this. This is Pas Redoublé. much everybody, because everybody had a lot of fingers to move here, but our woodwind section particularly, our trumpets, and our percussion on all the cymbals and banging and general stuff going on. The next piece, also by J.S. Bach. This is known as his Air for the G string, and it's not very much is known about the origin of this piece, but I heard this story, that it was during one of the performances of his partitas for violin, a very famous piece that he wrote. And the violinist was playing, the violin, it's got 4 strings and they're tuned in fifths, G, D, A, and E. There will be a test at the end of this to make sure that you've retained this. You can submit it by internet. And so the bottommost string, the one tuned in G, snapped, and he wasn't able to perform the piece. So Bach, thinking quickly, plucked a few hairs from his powdered wig, restrung the violin, tuned it up perfectly, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was the first performance of Bach's Air for a G string. Yes, I can hear you laughing from here. Thank you very much. This one is arranged by John Kakavas, who is a well-known concert band arranger, and I think we're about ready to go. Okay, so we'll play it. Air for the G string. role of a saxophone in a concert band is a thankless job. It's not like in a jazz band where they're always standing in front and soloing. They're sitting in the section where they're keeping the shh, you're too loud all the time. So it was only right that I should program a piece that featured the alto saxophone of Payman Weg. This is a tune called Harlem Nocturne, and it was written by Earl Hagen. Earl Hagen did it in tribute to Johnny Hodges, who was the lead alto saxophone for the Duke Ellington Orchestra. So if this sounds vaguely Ellingtonian to you, that's why. It was also used as the theme song for the Mickey Spillane TV show. If anybody there is my age, see the color of hair, then you might remember this. Mickey Spillane was the archetypical hard-bitten private detective with a glass of whiskey on his desk and talking in overblown metaphors. So try to think of Mickey Spillane as you listen to Payman play Harlem Nocturne. Weg. Come on, take it back. And now it's for our obligatory Christmas number. And so we're playing the Overture from the Messiah, which is a famous oratorio by Handel. Handel was German, and he moved to England to have fame and fortune, and he set a lot of English text, including the Messiah. It was one of the first big oratorios by a major composer in English. Unfortunately, he didn't speak English very well, so he ended up having all sorts of funny divisions of text and weird accents, funny accents on weird syllables and that kind of thing. One of the funniest is in the chorus, all we like sheep are comforted by his staff. He has the chorus sing at one point, we like sheep, we like sheep. Well, don't we all? But you don't have to put it in an oratorio. Come on. Especially with a little bit of mint sauce at Christmas time. Messiah Overture by Handel. Oh, and by the way, also of great interest to those of you who are studying music history in the last semester. This is in the form of a French overture, which has a slow intro and then a contrapuntal second part. And in the intro, he writes dotted quarters and eighths, but we played with double dotted quarters and sixteenths. Oh. Sorry. We're just really good. Okay, Messiah Overture. Hope you enjoyed it. won't believe this, but I can actually hear you applauding through the internet. Even those of you who are watching this an hour later via the special link. I can just hear the applause. Thank you. It warms our hearts. We all appreciate it. We've all been working very hard. Thank you very much for everybody for coming in here. And we also have a few people who don't have to be here, but came here anyway for the fun of it. Among them are Chloe Martin on flute, Maxim Duenpania, who just came in to sit in for fun, Carl Eck, who's one of our graduates from last year, who came back to help us out on second clarinet, Payman Veg on alto saxophone, who you heard before, Andre Lewis on baritone saxophone, who is no relation to Gareth Lewis on horn, sitting right beside him. I don't think so. You're not brothers or anything, right? No. All right. And Phil Cousino, my old pal from school, on trombone. Thank you very much, everyone, for paying such close. Oh, and of course, Alexandra Gagliano. That's right, of course. Why aren't you here? No, you're here. Alexandra, sorry, I jumped over here. Alexandra, thank you very much for coming. So, and then the rest of the students, you've worked very hard, and thank you very much. Go ahead, get into place. The next piece is a special arrangement written by, well, modesty prevents me. But I wrote it for this group, with the special orchestration we have here. This is by Modest Mussorgsky, and he was rather modest to say it as well. Arranged by Maurice Ravel. You might have heard his arrangement for orchestra, but I arranged it for concert band, largely based on Maurice Ravel's arrangement, in fact. And this is the movement from pictures at an exhibition called Le Ballet des Poussins dans leur coque, or the dance of the chicks in their shells. And it was inspired by a little painting of a whole bunch of eggs with little chicken legs sticking out of them, and they're bouncing around and bumping into each other. So just think of that while you hear this. One, thank you. The next piece is our major work. This is the Overture to the Magic Flute by Mozart. It was an opera, but don't worry, we don't have any singers here. We won't be singing anything, we're just going to play the instrumental part. This is usually played while people were still finding their seats and talking to each other, saying, "Oh, you look so beautiful tonight. Oh, thank you, dear." You know, that kind of thing. But it was still really good music, and it was meant to be heard. So we're going to play it for you in case you ever, go to the opera and don't manage to hear it because somebody's greeting you. There was a story I'd heard about this, actually, which was appropriate for Sejep students around this time of year. Apparently Mozart wrote the overture to one of his operas the morning the opera was premiered. I mean, talk about procrastination, right? Leaving stuff to the last minute and then rushing to get it in for the deadline, which every Sejep student can relate to. Am I right? Yes, we can. But it just turns out it wasn't this one. It was Abduction from the Seraglio or something, one of those other operas. But no, Magic Flute, he had it ready in plenty of time, and he just put his feet up and smoked a cigar while they were rehearsing. Everything was fine, which hopefully you guys will be able to do. Thank you. We thank you, the band thanks you, and especially Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart thanks you. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, our last piece. A number of years ago, in fact it was about 20, I had the honor of being the musical director for the New York touring production of Crazy for You. And it was a local Montreal production, but using some cast and directors from New York. And Crazy, it was a George Gershwin musical. It was the last musical he had been working on when he died. And they fixed it up, and they made it really good. And I really enjoyed the Overture. And so this is a concert band arrangement of that Overture by Jerry Brubaker. And I was ecstatic to find it in the library here because it shows off a lot of people. And we're going to finish off with this. This is Crazy for You. You'll notice that we have a not very large but well-appointed dance floor. And so if any of you feel like dancing, it's fine, not you guys have to play. But anybody who wants to dance can come here and do that, or you can dance in your own living rooms at home. It's up to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your support. Well done, everyone.